Vishnuhu Gururdevo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Can you increase the volume please little? Tapo Bhikshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mumukshunam Apekshoyam Atmabodho Vidhiyate. Now we are in the 41st verse of Atmabodha. We will read it again. Jnatra jnana jneya bhedaha parenatmani vidyate chidhanandaika rupatvad dhyipyate swayamevahi. So this triputi of the knower, the known and the knowledge is not in Atma the self. It is free of this triputi. And it is one without the second. So there is no scope for the division of the knower and the known. So how it is known? Swayameva dipyate. It is known by itself. There is no need for another knower to know it. It is of the nature of very knowledge. Therefore, dipyate swayamevahi. It is known by itself. We have seen this yesterday. Now moving on to the 42nd verse. Here an important sadhana is given. How to go about the churning of knowledge. Dhyana matana is given here. Evam atmaranau dhyana Mathane satatam krute Udita vagadir jwala Sarva jnanendanam dahet Evam atmaranau dhyana Mathane satatam krute Udita vagatir jwala Sarva jnanendanam dahe. Evam Atma aranau Dhyana matane satatam krite. Atma aranau, meaning what? See, to understand this, we must understand those days how the sacrificial fire was created. See, there is a video also. I recently saw that. Very, very impressive, very interesting video. See, what they do, they keep two wooden cups, one above and one below. Two wooden cups. And between there is a wooden rod. Right? And then this wooden rod is churned. They press it. The top one, they press it hard. And you know, the bottom one is kept in the earth or somewhere. And then somebody, one more person, he churns it with a rope or something, he churns. So when it's churned continuously, that spark comes out of it. In the wood it comes. And then they keep the cotton. And then the cotton gets that fire, and with that fire, they initiate the sacrifice or the yaga yajna. So that is those days, that was very much in front of everybody's eyes. The same picture is drawn here. So, what are the two wooden cups? Arani they are called as. What are those? One is the supreme self, the higher self. One is the lower self, the ego self. So there the churning happens. What is the churning actually? Dhyana matana means what? The churning is, I am not this non-self, I am not the body, I am not the mind. And I am actually the Satchidananda Swarupa. In fact, that Brahma Tattvam I am. This is the Matana. Why the higher self and the lower self, they are the two cups? Because the churning is happening between these two only. The true self is there hidden. The ego self is asserting. So who is doing this matana? The ego self is doing. Who else is doing? Ego self is only doing. I am only doing the matana.
Committing suicide.
Huh?
He is committing suicide.
Yeah, he will not, but he will apparently as if, But yes, when he does it sincerely, it's very dangerous for him. So this matana happens. What happens in that matana, dhyana matana, when it is done sincerely, what happens? Udita avagadir jwala. Avagadi means the right knowledge. Jwala means the fire of the right knowledge is created in this matana. See, earlier also there is another manthan, na? What is that? Milky ocean. Milky ocean, Parkadal. That was churned. And so many wonderful things came, and Alagala Visha also came. But here is inside, this matana happens, dhyana matana happens. From that the jnana agni is lit. That is, jnana itself is agni. What happens when it is lit? That jwala, sarva ajnana indanam dahet. It burns all the indanam, means what? The fuel. Whatever is the fuel. Whether the firewood or whatever. It burns. What is the jnana indanam here? Ajnana, sarva ajnana indanam dahet. Ajnana indana means the ignorance is the indana, fuel for this samsara to be alive. So that indana, that fuel of ajnana is completely destroyed. So the churning should go on. The churning, asserting oneself that I am this true self. And whenever the ego self identifies the body mind, through discrimination, we have to negate it. Not this, not this. Whatever is seen is not the true self. So whenever you are affected by the raga dvesha, sukha dukkha, then you say it all belongs to the mind. It has nothing to do with me. Like that, when you start living in the light of this knowledge, again and again asserting your true self and rejecting the false self, that is dhyana madana. See, it is not difficult actually. Only thing is you have to give some attention to it. In our day-to-day living, after this knowledge, we have to become more aware. What's happening outside and inside. Very important what's happening inside. So whenever there is identification, you have to be alert and reject it then and there. And try to assert. So that is matana. Then gradually when this matana happens, the real knowledge, the jnana agni is lit, and that burns all the ajnana indana, ignorance, all the vasanas is burnt, and then you realize the self. How the self is realized in the next verse, beautifully it is expressed. See, another picturization. Arune neva bodhena purva santamase hrute tatha avirbhavedhatma swayamevamshumaniva arune neva bodhena purva santamase hrute tatha avirbhavedatma swayamevamshumaniva. See here, when it is said Aruna, it means early dawn. Early dawn, before the sunrise. That column is called the Arunodayam. Arunodayam means that orange sort of, rays. The sun has not risen, but that is called as Aruna, or Ushat Kalam they say, or Aruna they say.
English can be both, that can be just before dusk,
twilight. Twilight, that is the right word. Yeah, twilight, that's the right word, correct.
Yeah,
that.
Arunachal Pradesh, first sun comes.
So Arunachala Pradesh. Oh, thank you for that information. See, what a beautiful information. because from Arunachal, there's a place called Arunachal in the east. So from there only sun first comes in India. So it's called as Arunachala Pradesh, Arunachala, because hilly. Okay, so beautiful. So the Aruna, the twilight, that comes first. And that drives away all the darkness. And then the sun rises in its own glory. So similarly here, Aruneneva, what is compared here? Bodhena, the true knowledge of the self happens. Purva means first it happens. San tamase hrite, all the ignorance is destroyed. And then what happens? Tataha avirbhaved atma swayameva amshumaniva. Then the true self shines by itself like the sun rising in the sky. So this knowledge, what you have churned, and this knowledge is very important to destroy the ignorance. Once when this knowledge happens, then there is no obstruction. The self shines by itself. You understand? What is the knowledge? I am not just the self of this body mind. I am the self of all. Then you abide in the self always. The self shines by itself. See, in the technical Vedanta Shastra, please listen carefully. In technical Vedanta Shastra it is said, even though the self cannot be known and all, but susukshma buddhya, with a very subtle intellect, we saw na bodha chakshusha. Vimala bodha chakshusha. I was searching for that word. Vimala bodha chakshusha. With the eye of clear understanding, we have the eye of clear knowledge. So you are able to see means what? A glimpse means what? As if the reflected self. Reflected means what? Same only, but it is not actual. Like you see your face in the mirror. So that happens through the very sukshma vrittya. That is what always called as the jnanam in the traditional literature. So when that happens, the ignorance is destroyed. And then abidance is natural. In abidance, there is no thought process. But initially, the bridge between the known and the unknown, this is called akantakara vritti or brahmakara vritti. Through that vritti, susukshma vrittya, that is the vritti. The self is known means what? Not actually, but the glimpse, let us say, a glimpse of it is known. And there is no doubt about it afterwards. In that knowledge, the ignorance is destroyed. See, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi doesn't, explain all these things because it's not required for a seeker. If we inquire who am I, when the ahamkara vanishes, everything happens by itself. So you need not worry about each and every step. Then you go on analyzing that step, and then who is realizing, what is happening, for whom the Maya, all such things, that is left for all the Panditas.
It's scientific, this is science.
This is science, but what I am saying, all these things left for Panditas. But now, according to Bhagavan, you do this, that is all. It will be done. So here, the Vedanta Shastra says, this is important. This bodha, the susukshma vrittya, to know the self is important. But that is not the actual, but that is the actually the reflected, a glimpse of it. Then the doubts are resolved. And then the Atma, the self shines. You abide there. Abide means what? Not knowing it, just being it. So that is how it happens, it is said. So therefore, the Aruna, the twilight, comes first. And then the real sun. Similarly, the Bodha happens first. And the Ajnana is destroyed. The darkness is destroyed. Tamas means darkness is destroyed. And then the self shines of its own. Okay, moving on. What is the difference between the deep sleep and the samadhi? Because in the deep sleep also, the mind and intellect, everything is absorbed. See, this Bhagavan once revealed this very beautiful point. He says, actually we are one with the self only. But we do not know that that is the state. Why? We have not experienced it before, consciously. So when you go into the samadhi avastha, consciously enter into that state, you know what it is. So, like that, if you have been entering it again and again and knowing what it is, even in the deep sleep when you go there, it is not misunderstood as nothing. It is the self. So, that is gained in samadhi. Otherwise, every deep sleep you go into samadhi only. Bhagavan says, it is blinding light, he says. So, you don't know anything. Blinding light, see, when some very heavy light is on your eyes, you can't see anything. He says it is blinding light. Since you don't have the experience before, you miss it, even though it is. Because that is such a subtle experience. Experience of nothing. We have not experienced it at all. In samadhi, you experience nothing. So then, iddanadu. So you go into the deep sleep. There is no difference. That is why the ajnana means what? You have not tasted it in the samadhi consciously. That is why it is ajnana, it's called. Once when you taste it again and again consciously, you go into the, what is that? Deep sleep. See, samadhi only. See, Bhagavan when he was young, he had a very peculiar trait. He was sleeping like a dead wood, like a log of wood he was sleeping. Nobody could wake him up when he sleeps. See, when he is awake, nobody can play fool with him. He gives bong. He was very built, it seems, well built, it seems, as a young boy. So all those friends, they take revenge while he is asleep, it seems. They drag him and they hit him, but he will not wake up. Later, Bhagavan said, you know, somehow he has entered into some sort of deep samadhi, it seems. Even that age, before realization, before that death experience. You know what Bhagavan said later? It is not that I don't know. I am aware that they are hitting me. I know they are dragging me. But somehow I am absorbed in a very deep state that I didn't want to respond. Somehow there is no sort of distinct urge to respond back. So it was there in him even from his birth, it seems. So that is a very peculiar trait. Like I told you, Swami Vivekananda also, whenever he went to sleep, he saw a big light appearing and then he is absorbed into it and he went into sleep. He thought everybody would go like that only, but it is not so. See, these are all very unique, great souls, Mahatmas. We cannot compare them with anybody or anything. So therefore, this bodha happens. Susukshma vrittya it happens. And then the ajnana is destroyed. And then the self shines of its own. See, these are all the very, very finer points, which will not be explained in an ordinary discourse. Since because you are all serious seekers, we are following Viveka Chudamani, and also Atmabodha in a focused way, this you should understand. So therefore, this Brahmakara vritti or Akantakara vritti is all very real, very true. It is not vritti also, it is not self also, in between. Though it is in the form of vritti, it is not a vritti. Because Akantakara, vritti means what? Kanda. It is limited. But this vritti is a very peculiar vritti. It is not kanda, akanda, but still a vritti. How? That is how it is. Rendungatam. Rendungatam means not here, not there. It is not the self also, it is not the thought also. Rendungatam is சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழ்ல. Adolescent people, adolescent boys, they say rendungatam. He is not an adult or a child. He is in between. So this thought, Akantakara vritti, cannot be considered as thought because it is not kanda, it is akanda. It cannot be considered as self because it rises. So therefore, somehow, it is a very unique thing. It is a bridge between the known and the unknown. So every seeker goes through that, through the threshold of the self. And there he is pushed and then he drowns. He loses himself. And there he is one with the self. So that is what explained in this verse. Moving on. This is also how beautiful. Atma tu satatam praptaha. Wait. Praptopi solido. Atma tu satatam praptopi. Apraptavad avidyaya. तन्नाशे प्राप्तवत् भाति स्वकण्ठाभरणं यथा आत्मा तु सततं प्राप्तोऽपि अप्राप्तवदविद्यया तन्नाशे प्राप्तवत् भाति स्वकण्ठाभरणं यथा Atma tu satatam praptaha. Atma is ever attained. Satatam praptaha. Ever attained. There is no point of time when you are not the self. You are always yourself. Can anybody take it away from you? No. You are always yourself. Even though it is so, apraptavad avidyaya. It is as if not known because of the ignorance. As if apraptavad. As if it is not attained. Why? Because of avidya. Avidya means what? Somehow we are deluded and we say, I don't know. And we take the superimpositions to be the real. That is imagined by our mind, but we take that to be real. And we only revel in this. We what? Nyatru Nyeya Beda. Experiencer, experienced. In that only we go on reveling. And we don't know what is that which is behind or beyond this division. But though it is there, it is not as if attained. Then, tannashe, when the avidya is destroyed, praptavat bhati, as if it is attained. Earlier also it was there only, as if not attained. Now, when the ajnana is destroyed, as if it is attained. Like what? Swakanta abharanam yata. Like the necklace in the lady's neck only. So, she is wearing the necklace. And she is searching for it. Yo, I have to go to the marriage, I go to the wedding. Where is the necklace? Where is the necklace? She is searching everywhere. Because it is very short, she cannot see it. And then, okay, chod do yaar, we'll go. So when she went in front of the mirror, I have got it. Swakanta abharanam. So when she was searching, where was it? With her only. Swakanta abharanam. Kanta means neck. Swakanta abharanam. It was with her only, around her neck only. But she was searching for it. But when she went in front of the mirror, I got it. But that is a real thrill that she has got it. Because she has been searching for it so much. And she was so sad that she is going to go without her favorite necklace. She thinks only with the necklace she shines bright. Especially for wedding, if you go, you have to be the center of attraction. And certain things are very, very disturbing for certain people. See, not only that, people ask, what happened to you? Where is your necklace? Have you mortgaged it or what? What happened to you? So to avoid such questions, at least you have to borrow from somebody and wear it and go. Or hire it and wear it. So she is very thrilled to find it again, though it was not lost in the first place. Similarly, Atma, the self, is always there. I am that always. But somehow, nobody understands why. Somehow, we feel that I don't know. Hare Rama, you are living with yourself for 24/7, all throughout a year. How can you say I don't know? No, I know only this, the personality. That also we don't know very properly, Actually, we don't know about ourselves also. Even this personality, we don't know much. Sometimes we are moody, sometimes we are irritated, sometimes we are very serene, happy. Why? We don't know. 3 gunas are acting. When the gunas are acting, when you are in a sattvic mood, everything is fine. Even if you are provoked, you smile. When you are in rajasic mood, even small provocation, you flare. You break everybody. If you are in a tamasic mood, you can't even flare. Between 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., you can't even shout at anybody. So if somebody gives you gali, you accept it and reserve it for 4:30. You are hearing everything, it's all registered, but there is no Shakti to give it back. So after sleep, you get up fresh and so Kanthabharana means he is always there with you. But because of the three gunas, somehow you are deluded. And you know what Sattva, how it deludes? You are so peaceful and serene. You take that to be the ultimate state. No, that is also not the ultimate state. Still you are in that Jnatru, Jnaya, Bheda only. But somehow the mind is peaceful. But still the division is there. I am a very good person, a very noble person, you know. I am a bhakta. These are all sattvic ego. So therefore, like Kanthabharanam, though the Atma is always there, the self, but still as if it is lost because of ignorance. Suppose if the husband was there with her, he would immediately say, hey, it is there in around your neck. So Guru is there means he is always pointing out. It is there around, means within you. But still Ajnana is so strong, even after pointed out, we say where? Yourself, meaning what? How to see it? How to see it? You cannot see it, you be it. How to be it? Always is easy to ask question, no? How to be it? First you ask how to see it, then you say be it. How to be it? Just be. How to be? How can anybody teach how to be? You have to be. See, this one thing cannot be taught, you know. Just to be. சும்மா இருங்கிறது எப்படி சொல்லி கொடுக்கிறது?
Bhagavan taught it with his look.
With his presence. Yeah, with his look he kindled that within something, but his sannidhana visesha is so peaceful and quiet that people also just melted, their minds melted. Yes, his eyes were very powerful. Through that he was transferring some sort of spiritual, some sort of awakening, definitely.
So looking at everyone as Shiva, as the self. That's what it said.
He is not looking also, as though looking.
As though looking at that within everyone.
Yes. See, once somebody asked me a very peculiar question. Bhagavane, when people come, enter into the hall, you don't even acknowledge them. See, Bhagavan would be like this. When people come or go, he won't even acknowledge. Bhagavan said, no. He said, very mysteriously he said, when people enter, I actually prostrate to them. Not exactly prostrating. Recognizing them as Shiva itself is prostrating actually. See? Recognizing them as Shiva means what? Oneself. That is actual prostration. You are not different from me, you are one. Therefore, I respect or revere, whatever. Whatever you can interpret. But Bhagavan said, when anybody enters, I actually prostrate means what? I consider them as not other than the self. That itself is accepting them as one's own. So that is what more acknowledgement you want. So therefore, they are in a very different state. So this Kanthabharanam yata, like the Kanthabharanam, even though it is not lost, as if it is lost. So it is as if found and as if we are thrilled. What has happened? Nothing has happened. It was never lost. So the realization is not that you have gained it. The realization is you have never lost it. Why have I been searching for it like a fool? That is the realization. Because it was never lost. It was like this always, but I was only misunderstanding it. See, when you realize the self, it was like this only always. Why did I think that everybody is other than me? Why did I think only this rotten thing is me? Why did I think others are not me? Hare Rama, everybody is me only. Now, why did I think that way? First of all, this would be your question. How did I misunderstand? How did I take this body to be me and others or to be others? This would be your wonder. How did this happen? Because absolutely there is no reason for this to happen. Because truth is always like this. Not that after realizing it becomes like that. No, it was always like the Akhanda only. There is no division in the self. The divisions are only apparent. It is not actual. So, Swakantavaranam yatha. Moving on. our famous example. Sthanau Purushavad Bhrantya Kruta Brahmani Jivata Jivasya Tatvike Rupe Tasmin Drishte Nivartate Sthanau Purushavat Bhrantya Kruta Brahmani Jivata Jivasya Tatvike Rupe Tasmin Drishte Nivartate. Bhrantya, out of delusion, Sthanau Purushavad. Like you see Sthanau in the post, Purusha, a sort of a ghost. Purusha means what? A man. Or our famous example is ghost. Both are same only. There is no, sorry. So, you see as if somebody else where that person was not. Bhrantya. Already if you are under the influence of Bhranti also you can see that way. Bhrantya, out of delusion, you see that way. Similarly, Krita Brahmani Jivata. Similarly, in the Brahman, the self, you see Jiva. Like you are seeing that Purusha or that man who is not there in that post, out of your delusion, you see the Jiva in the Brahman. Meaning, that Purusha or the ghost has not come at all from the post. In fact, the ghost was never. You see it because of your delusion. Similarly, the Jiva was never. You see it because of your delusion and you say there is, I am the Jiva, and you suffer. When the knowledge happens, what happens? The ghost goes back into the post? No. It is appreciated that never ever born. See, the ghost was never ever born. It was only imagined because of my own delusion. So the Jiva was never ever born. It is not that Jiva will merge with the self. No. The understanding is the Jiva was never ever born. I was only imagining all these days about this Jiva. How sad. And because of that imagination, I suffered a lot. Because of seeing the ghost, my blood pressure gone up and I, sort of palpitation started. I really, almost, I am dead. So can ever the post create this kind of a reaction in a person? No, never. But because of my delusion, I saw something terrible, then everything happened. So similarly, even though the Jiva was not there, never ever born, but if you assume he is there, then whatever the consequences, the suffering, is real only. Real means what? In that level it is real. Jivasya tatvike rupe tasmin drishte. Suppose if you see the reality of the Purusha, nothing but the post. If you see the reality of the Purusha or the ghost as nothing but only the post. Similarly, if you say the reality of the Jiva is nothing, it is Brahman only, then nivartate. What is nivartate? Bhranti. The delusion is removed. The ignorance or the delusion is removed. And then all the fear, anxiety, worry, everything goes along with it. Why? Because of the delusion you saw a ghost. But when you are awakened, you know that the ghost was never ever born. Similarly, you know that all this suffering is unnecessary, is imagined. The Jiva was never ever born. The world was never ever created. Therefore, that is only the self, always, which cannot become anything, which has never become anything. It is always Ananda Swarupam. And in that, there is nothing other than it. See, what a revolutionary, doom, that kind of a experience. See, this is a very different, doom, don't imagine like Big Bang and all. I mean, so very different experience. See, it's out of the world, like, can't imagine what it is. That is how it is. So there is only one. No, ends. Because only the Jiva can go and come. When you identify with the self, there is no going or coming. Because there is no world to go. Nobody to go, no world to go. See, the jiva vanishes now. Who will go? Self is not going anywhere.
So in the ocean of consciousness, this bubble called body-mind.
That is also relative.
Is it? Yeah. It sees other bubbles, and it's because of the addiction to doership and enjoyership.
It considers everybody is different and I am also different. Different from the waters.
Just that.
Just that. Whereas the water alone is the Satyam. That is how it is. So therefore, very interesting thing is, the ghost has never appeared from the post. So there is no question of after doing sadhana, then what happens? The ghost goes back into the post. The world disappears and the Brahman appears. No. According to Gaudapada, there is no reason for the world to be created. There is no reason for the world to be created. So never ever the world was created, never ever the jiva was born, never ever this ajnana was. It is all imagined. By whom? Who knows? So when you realize it's a different story, there everything ends. Tattva Swaroopanubhavat Swaroopanubhavat Utpannam Jnanam Anjasa Aham Mameti Cha Jnanam Bhadate Digbrahmadivat Tattva Swaroopanubhavat Utpannam Jnanam Anjasa Aham Mameti Cha Jnanam Bhadate Digbrahmadivat Tattva Swarupa Anubhavat. Tattva Swarupa Anubhavat. So once when you experience this true self, Utpannam Jnanam, whatever knowledge happens in you, Anjasa, immediately, Aham Mameti Cha Ajnanam Bhadate, it destroys, Bhadate means it destroys the idea of Aham Mama Iti, I am this body mind, Mama, these are mine. Aham Mama Iti, Ajnanam Bhadate. This is called Ajnanam. The idea of I am this body and certain things are mine. Other things are, something else, I don't know what it is. These are mine. Whatever I like, I hold it as to be my own, mine. These things are not mine. So this is Ragadvesha, and because of that samsara, once when the jnana happens, there is nothing like that, no division in the self. Self is one. In that there is no seer and the seen also. Therefore there is no bheda. So aham mama iti is destroyed. When this jnanam happens, atma jnanam, aham mama iti is destroyed. I and mine, the idea of non-yanadu, I-ness and minus is gone. Like what? Like Digbrahmadivat. See, suppose when you go in the dense forest, you may lose your path and you may even lose a sense of direction because it's so dense that sun rays cannot peep in. You may lose direction, sense of direction. Then somebody has to come and tell you, oh, this is the east. Oh, right. Or if you go into a new city, when you land there, you are confused, which is the east, which is west. When you see sunrise, oh, this is east. So once when you see the sun rising, then you know that confusion about the direction is once and for all gone. You know this is east. So when you know the true self, then all the other things like aham, mama, ajnana is destroyed. Till then, howsoever you try, it asserts itself as I and it wants to hold on to something as my own. See, the problem is when you possess something as my own and you are attached to it, and you are disturbed by it continuously. And not only that, there is a fear of losing it. And there is samsara. You cannot be peaceful. Actually speaking, a person who is attached cannot be peaceful, cannot be happy, cannot enjoy life. See, for an example, I tell you. You experiment this. You must have experimented everything. Suppose you take your wife and children, maybe 2-3 children, let us say. You take them for a vacation. You watch yourself, how your mind is. And you go alone sometimes. Some pilgrimages, somewhere you go alone. You watch your mind. See, when you have your wife and children, always you take a responsibility, sort of, if you are a responsible householder. If you are irresponsible, the wife is responsible, she will go through that. Always tensed. Arey, we have to reach the airport in proper time. Ayo, there is traffic. Will the gate will be closed? What will happen? I have to take the connecting flight, blah, blah, blah. And you know, everything you are tensed. And the children, whether they are coming behind, what are they doing? You are always, you know, and especially if you take some 50-100 devotees for a pilgrimage, gone. You are a real samsari. I don't know why people do that.
You did it.
I did not do that. I never did anything. And you take people with you. I tell you, Rama. And people ask for taid sadam, curd rice in Uttarakashi. Where will you go?
In Paris.
In Paris you may get. In Uttarakashi, in the cold, in the night they want taid sadam, curd rice. Where will you go? Not possible. But the South Indian Brahmins, they are very particular about taid sadam in the night. If they don't eat taid sadam, they are heartbroken. If you feed them with taid sadam and, you know, fill their stomach, they are happy. Smile comes back. So, not only that, it's very difficult because you take unnecessary responsibility on your head and you think you are the doer, you are the enjoyer and you are responsible for everybody. So that comes, you know, with that. When you don't go with anybody, go alone. Peace. If you want to go, you go. If you want to go, lie down in your bed, in your own room, you do that. See, no pressure. Nobody to consult. Do whatever you want. How nice. That is why this Dattatreya Maharaj said, when he was walking through, he found a lady pounding. And she had 2-3 bangles in each hands. So it would create noise. Chala, 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 the bangles. Then she removed. And only with one bangle she started. No noise. So he learned from there. Whenever you move around, you should move around as a single person. Even if 2 means chala, 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 talking. And some people want that because they are very scared if they are alone. Swamiji, I am alone in that guest room. Please send somebody else with me. Why? Bhuta will take you away? No, I am a little scared. I tell you, even grown-up people are scared. I am scared. Why? Bhuta Preta will take you. Bhuta Preta will be scared about you. What happened? Okay. So all the fear, everything is created because of what? You are seeing the jiva. So therefore, you should travel alone if you want to enjoy. Live alone if you want to enjoy life.
That is the meaning of Alak Niranjan, Swamiji.
Alok Niranjan. Alok, lok it is. Luck means not luck. Lok only they call it as luck. Alok, alak they say. See, that is a slang. Actually, our Swamiji used to say, the meaning is there is no lokam. Alok. There is no world for them. Niranjan, pure. That is how they live. Alak Niranjan means alok. It's like lok only has become luck. In a slang way, in a slang. So, therefore, only when you see the jiva as Brahma Tattvam only, not as other than the Brahma Tattvam, then all this Bhranti is removed. Nivartate. Okay, moving on. தத்துவஸ்வரூபானுபவாத். அது சொல்லியாச்சா? அது படிச்சாச்சு, 46 படிச்சாச்சு. அதான் ஞானம் அஞ்சஸ் அகம் அமேதி ச அஜ்ஞானம் பாததே திக்பிரமாதிவத். சம்யக் விஜ்ஞானவான் யோகி ஸ்வாத்மன்யேவாகிலம் ஜகத் ஏகம் ச சர்வமாத்மானம் ஈக்ஷதே ஞானசக்ஷுஷா. சம்யக் விஜ்ஞானவான் யோகி ஸ்வாத்மன்யேவாகிலம் ஜகத் ஏகம் ச சர்வமாத்மானம் ஈக்ஷதே ஞானசக்ஷுஷா. சம்யக் விஜ்ஞானவான், one who has got firm abidance. Samyak vijnanavan, one who has got a nishtha or dhrida jnanam. Samyak vijnanavan yogi, such yogi swatmani eva akilam jagat ikshate, meaning what? In himself only he sees the whole world. Ekam cha, in the oneself, sarvam atmanam ikshate, he sees everybody as oneself. How? Jnana chakshusha, through the eye of wisdom. Since he is abiding in the self, he sees himself alone in everyone, or he sees everyone in his own self. Bhagavad Gita, it is again and again said in Bhagavad Gita also. So, he sees everything in himself and himself in everybody. That perfect oneness is his vision. So, this is a very important topic which needs a lot of discussion and attention. So, we will take it tomorrow. We will stop here and tomorrow we will continue with this vision of oneness. Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.